So, the emergence of new technologies almost always brings a flurry of emotional responses from those who lived in a simpler time before their existence. So for example, in the year 1896, the New York Times published an article that decried the popularity of a pernicious craze that had ruined the morals of young people. What was this newfangled invention? Any guesses?
TikTok.
Say that again?
TikTok.
1896? Maybe, yeah, sure. Any other guesses?
Okay.
Film?
Phone.
The chalkboard.
The bicycle. Today, we pontificate about the effects that screens, social media, and machine learning algorithms will have on youth. And when I read 100-year-old quotes from the Times about how the game of tag was once thought to be, and I kid you not, a useless and disruptive activity that should be banned from playgrounds and schools, it certainly makes me wonder how much we overstate the dangers of emerging technologies for youth. Now, when I was a little girl, I begged my mom to let me stay home from preschool. I had terrible social anxiety as a 3-year-old. And instead of going to preschool, I stayed home. And so that my mom could also get some work done, I spent many days in front of our giant Windows desktop. I played computer games, I learned numbers and letters on the keyboard, and I started writing my very first stories in word processor. I got on the internet for the first time in elementary school, and I taught myself how to code HTML when I got on MySpace in high school. Now I write machine learning programs in Python, and last year I became the first Black woman to get a data science degree from Harvard. Thank you. Thank you. Last year was also the first time I experienced a targeted political hate campaign against me online, complete with the classic misogyny, threats, and doxing of my home address, all because I dared to be a Black woman who was married to a white man running for political office. And today, I'm a developmental scientist who studies racist and sexist biases in algorithmic systems and the effects that these biases have on the well-being of marginalized young people, and specifically Black girls. Technology has been an integral part of my upbringing, my creative expression, my aspirations, and one of the darkest and most terrifying moments of my life. And to be honest, I still can't really say how it's going to be for this next digital native generation. They haven't finished developing, and we haven't done enough research on their developmental trajectories to make some strong guesses. We do know, though, that unlike bicycles and tag, predictive technologies have the power to discriminate against, to deny opportunities to, and to just plain inconvenience people at the margins, particularly those who are intersectionally vulnerable, such as young girls of color. And that is worthy of interrogation, which is what the film we're about to watch does. In TikTok Boom, Shalini Kantaya, its director, investigates the meteoric rise of TikTok and the world's latest pernicious craze. And she asks important questions about privacy, safety, foreign affairs, child welfare, and social justice. I'm not going to give away too much before we watch it, but when I watch this film, I'm often reminded of one of my own memories on TikTok. I have gotten off of TikTok lately because it is too addictive, but at one point I was watching a lot of it. But this one day I was scrolling when I logged on, scrolled past a few funny social commentaries, and stopped at a TikTok from a girl named Danielle Burnett. As Danielle sat in the car and let the front-facing camera on her phone roll, she became increasingly teary-eyed. She said, "I was just trying to create a safe space on TikTok. I wanted to post body-positive stuff. But I just feel really uncomfortable, and I need, like any girls who see this video, to interact with the video because I want to make people feel comfortable and confident by me posting stuff, and I don't feel super safe anymore." Danielle was referring to how one of her previous videos had gone viral and made it to the wrong side of TikTok, where men were commenting inappropriate and misogynistic and often frightening things on her post. Now, when I saw this video on my For You page, it struck me in a few different ways. Here was an adolescent of color who not only knew how the TikTok algorithm worked, she was manipulating it to protect her safety. and her community of like-minded young feminists who supported each other in the face of misogyny and racism. At the same time, she was painfully aware of how that same algorithm could subject her to abuse and threats of violence. Danielle is not unlike others in her generation who are keenly aware of the power that algorithmic systems play in their digital lives and then how that bleeds into their offline lives, their sense of self, and their sense of well-being and safety. The algorithm that powers my For You page shows me the numerous young people on TikTok who are becoming increasingly aware of how predictive algorithms work. Particularly the collaborative filtering algorithms that run platforms like TikTok and other social media sites. Regardless of whether or not this awareness is a widespread phenomenon in the lives of digital natives, or just the perception of a small group of us huddled in the corner of the internet, it is clear that algorithms shape our identity, it's clear that they shape our daily lived experiences in complex and not yet understood ways. These daily use predictive technologies undoubtedly shape the way we think about ourselves, the world, our development as individuals, and the development of our species in profound ways. However, the role that machine learning and artificial intelligence plays in our social, psychological, and biological processes is virtually unexamined in the developmental science literature. There is no developmental model, for example, that accounts for the socio-algorithmic nature of our modern world. And this lack of framing for empirical scientific work may explain the dearth of research on the influence of socio-algorithmic systems on developmental processes. Similarly, the fields of human-computer interaction, which is known as HCI, and the field of fair, accountable, and transparent machine learning, also known as FACT-ML, rarely contend with developmental stage as an aspect of identity that mediates and moderates the ways that humans and AI interact. And this is a grave shortcoming, in my opinion. This is also part of why films like TikTok Boom, which tell the stories of young people whose lives have been deeply impacted by these particular algorithmic systems, by this particular algorithmic system, TikTok, are so important. We need to listen to and learn from youth themselves. We need to take the questions they pose and the hypotheses that they generate and put resources toward uncovering truth. We need to take their lead. So, as you watch this film, I want you to pay the closest attention to the youngest subjects. Be curious about their experiences and try not to impose your own view from growing up in a world where TikTok didn't exist. That world is long gone, and for better or worse, we're probably not going back. I want you to ask the questions, how can we make the most of the conditions we find ourselves in? What kind of socio-technical relationships can we imagine that would allow us and our young people to thrive and live out fully realized lives? Is there room for TikTok in that imagination, or is TikTok a cancer that needs to be rooted out? And how will we prepare ourselves for the next AI-powered technology that spreads across the earth like a deadly pandemic? I'm curious. I hope you are too. And I hope that you maintain a healthy dose of skepticism. Thank you, and enjoy the film.